I saw an interesting documentary on the BBC the other day called The Truth About Slim People. And the idea of this program was that it followed people who were very slim despite not following any kind of training regime or diet. These were people who just seemed to be inherently slim. There are many different reasons that you might struggle to lose weight or that you might find it easier to lose weight. In fact, I did a whole video on it. But what this documentary honed in on was the fact that these people, these slim people, they had far more active lifestyles. They weren't necessarily going to the gym and things, but it's just in between workouts, in between everything else, they were just more active. They might bob their leg, they might dance around the kitchen, they might walk a little bit further. So it's actually the time between training that counts more, at least according to this program, when it comes to losing weight. This concurs with a theory called healthy homeostasis, which basically says that we maintain a certain weight by increasing or decreasing our activity on the down low as we increase and decrease our calories. So if you eat a little bit more one day, then you might be slightly more active. You might bound up the stairs with a spring in your step, or you might toss and turn a bit more at night. You might think faster, you might speak faster, you might just bob your leg a bit more, and of course your metabolism might ramp up. On the other hand, if you don't get quite as many calories that day, then you're going to be slightly slower. You might be a bit tireder in the evening and might move a little bit less. This of course makes it difficult to lose weight because when you reduce your calories, you're also reducing your activity and thereby still maintaining a kind of status quo. Use a fitness tracker and you might be led to believe that the workout you just did was fantastic at putting a huge dent in your number of calories burned. You might have burned, say, 200 calories during a weightlifting session. That's a fair average. However, what you might have forgotten, and what the fitness tracker neglects to tell you, is that you would have already burned 50 to 60 calories during that hour anyways, just from blinking, breathing, and being alive. So actually, you've only burned about 150 calories, and suddenly this is only about the equivalent of a 4-finger Kit Kat, so it's not going to make a huge difference. Again, it's that activity during the day that's actually more important than those short bursts of intense activity. And this makes sense from an evolutionary perspective as well. We wouldn't have done workouts in the wild, we'd have been constantly active. We'd have been either lying down, recovering, or we'd have been hunting, gathering, foraging, fighting. And there are tons of health benefits to being active throughout the day as well. One fairly well publicized study concluded that for every hour you spend sitting in front of the TV, you reduce your lifespan by 22 minutes. Now, I don't know how much stock to put in that, but it's certainly a bit of a wake-up call, and there might be some element of truth in it. Not only that, but regular activity throughout the day can boost your mood, help you cope with stress, boost creativity, executive function. So what's the solution? Well, one answer is incidental exercise. This is all the exercise that you do throughout the day, not as a training regime, but as part of your daily life. So that might mean taking the stairs instead of the elevator. It might mean getting off your bus or stop early so that you can walk that distance. It might mean choosing to carry your shopping as a basket instead of pushing a trolley around. All these things are helping you to burn a few more calories, to use your muscles a bit more, to get the blood flowing when you wouldn't necessarily have to. It's about making healthy choices throughout the day when it comes to your levels of activity. So take a look at your current routine and ask yourself, how much are you actually moving? If you drive to work, sit in an office all day, come home and sit in front of the TV, then there's probably room for improvement. And if you're not losing weight by going to the gym for half an hour, 3 times a week, then maybe that's something you could look at. So now you can take a look at your routine and you can find convenient and practical ways to inject a little bit more activity back into it so that you're increasing your general amount of exercise throughout the day. Or why not set yourself some little goals, like trying to do 10 push-ups once every hour, and you'll be surprised at how much more energetic you feel, how much less stiff, how much less lethargic. It feels like you're taking this big bunch of time out of your day when you really don't have time, but actually you'll get that time back several-fold. But to take this to the next level, we can also do something called incidental training. I looked this up on Google and it's not a thing. I assumed it was, so I guess maybe I coined that term, but who knows. Basically, the idea here is to introduce micro workouts, or even shorter than micro workouts. So that might mean that if you've just got 10 minutes whilst you're working, you can take a short break, do some curls, then get back to work. Then maybe later on you might take a short break and do some chin-ups, or you might take a short break and do some squats. Or you could even take a very short 5-minute run around the block before lunch. Or of course, it might mean that you turn everyday activities into workouts. So you might be curling your shopping bag, or you might do calf raises on a curb whilst you're waiting for your bus. Maybe you're gonna do an isometric hold trying to curl a railing whilst you're waiting for your bus. So now you're thinking, does this really work? Can you really get benefits from such short workouts? And is it not gonna lead to overtraining? And the answer to all those questions depends on your goals and the way you strategically introduce this into your regime. So yes, you can encourage growth in just 10 minutes. Tim Ferriss often refers to workouts designed to be highly efficient for stimulating hypertrophy as MEDs, minimal effective doses. So you don't need to do a 1 hour bicep session to get some benefit from a biceps workout, especially if you're practiced, if you know how to get a burn, if you're using intensity techniques. Say a big drop set, you could quite quickly and easily get your biceps pumped and burning, and whilst it wouldn't be as good as a whole bicep day, obviously, it'd be better than nothing. That, however, would get you sweaty, it's not terribly convenient, and it could lead to overtraining. Slightly more effective would be to do very heavy single repetitions on compound lifts like squats or deadlifts. Because you're doing low rep, high weight, you actually don't need to put that much time in. If you had a squat rack in your house or if you had a barbell outside, you could very quickly do some deadlifts or some squats, and you get all the same benefits in just 10 minutes. You might want to do a quick warm up, of course, but again, there's a chance of burning out your central nervous system. There's a chance of injury. And like I say, you're going to get sweaty. It's not terribly convenient. So again, this isn't something that you're going to want to do often or a lot of. As for those very short bursts of cardio, there are some studies to show that very short and sporadic, frequent bursts of cardio can improve your fitness. Obviously not as much as long runs, but again, better than nothing. And they have also been shown to improve adherence, meaning that you're more likely to stick to it. But again, you're going to be running in your work clothes, you're going to have to get changed, you're going to be sweaty when you come home. A lot of this is about doing what you can do conveniently to fit it into your day, otherwise you might as well do a full workout. So the best way to use these kinds of exercises is strategically maybe to top up a workout that wasn't as long as it should have been if you don't have much time, as a feeder workout just to pump some blood to the muscles the next day in order to encourage growth and recovery. Or of course, if you just really can't fit in a full workout and this is the only way you're going to get that training. I've been using little sporadic workouts like this as one of the ways to cope with the added demands and low energy that comes from being a parent. Much more effective though would be to choose better suited forms of exercise. So for instance, overcoming isometrics, squeezing a grip trainer or pushing against something or doing a bull worker, pushing or pulling against an immovable force. I've talked about it a lot. This helps to really build the neural connections to help you recruit more muscle fiber. And because there's no eccentric portion, there's no lengthening of the muscle, you're far less likely to cause inflammation, burn, you're less likely to impair your workout the next day. Grip training in particular is hard on the central nervous system. You need to ease it in gently, but as you do this and as you adapt, eventually you can introduce this around your other workouts and be just fine. The other good thing about overcoming isometrics, of course, is that they don't tend to make you very sweaty. They don't need much equipment, so they're perfect. You can just do the grip trainer whilst the kettle's boiling, or you can try and do a bull worker just whilst your computer's booting up. Likewise, you could use some concentric only exercises that I talked about recently in my video on work capacity. So things like tire flipping, and again, that shouldn't fatigue you as much the next day. Likewise, if you're using very light weights, so for instance, if you're doing a deadlift with a very light weight, or if you're doing pull-ups just using body weight, then you can practice what's called greasing the groove. This is talked about by Pavel Tsatsouline, hopefully I've said that name correctly. Basically, he suggests that if you repeat movements over and over again, you're practicing strength. Strength is a skill, and therefore you can improve your technique, you can improve your muscle fiber recruitment, you can get stronger, you can get more efficient at performing those movements. Essentially what's happening in the brain is that you're encouraging long-term potentiation, you're thickening the neural pathways through myelination to help yourself to more efficiently move through that movement, thereby apply your strength in a more correct manner, thereby be able to lift more or perform more repetitions. So keep some parallettes in your office and try and do the planche every now and then. It's not going to really tax your system at all, but the practice is going to make you stronger, it's going to help you to balance better, and it's just a great way to get the blood flowing. A very common one is just to keep a pull-up bar on your door frame, and every time you walk through, you have to do some chin-ups or some pull-ups. This is a great way to get better at pull-ups, to be able to do more pull-ups, and it's a really good way to get the blood pumping. And finally, remember that it's not just strength that you need to train. If you watch this video, then you might well be interested in training your brain. You might be well interested in training flexibility or balance or jump height. And these are all things that you can do throughout your day if you take a look at your routine and look at where you can fit them in. So for instance, you can do some stretching in the shower. Why stand on 2 feet when you could be balancing on 1? Why walk through the gate when you could jump over it? Why write with your dominant hand when you could write with your left hand in order to train ambidexterity? Why walk somewhere when you could jog? Why jog when you could jog backwards and train completely different muscles? You'll get some weird looks, but who cares? In other words, everything can be training. And in terms of brain training, why not practice mindful ironing? This is basically the idea that if you focus 100% on a mundane task such as ironing, it can become a form of meditation. So yeah, anything can be training, and there's a lot of benefit to introducing more training throughout your day. So I hope you found this video useful and interesting, guys. If you did, then please leave a like, please share it around, comment down below and let me know of the inventive ways that you train throughout your day, if you indeed have any. I've got tons more videos on the way. Sorry if there's any that you're particularly looking forward to that are taking a while. I just want to do them right, and I'm putting a lot more effort and time into the video editing and things, so that's why they're taking longer. I'm trying to introduce these shorter, quick tips as well as a kind of trade-off, but yeah, I'm going to get to everything as quickly as I can, and yeah, I have a huge list of really cool stuff that I'm getting to, so thanks for being patient and sticking with me. Oh, and a massive thanks to my patrons over at Patreon. It's thanks to you guys that I've been able to increase the quality of these videos with things like the stock footage and the better editing. I invested in Envato Elements, for instance, and yeah, hopefully it's really paying off, so I'm really grateful to you guys, and if you want to get involved, then there's a link in the description down below. Thanks a ton for watching, guys, and I'll see you next time. Bye for now.